When you beat the game, you get the satisfying end to the narrative, the completion of the journey, but a lot of the time, you aren't done. And sometimes, when you keep going, you find something crazy weird. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 ridiculous secret endings in recent games. So before we get going, you probably can guess, but for all the people in the back row, this is a big blanket spoiler warning for you. We're talking about endings in games, so obvious spoilers, but we can't in good conscience not do this. So let's get going, starting off with number 10, Saints Row from 2022, the reboot that, let's call it divisive. That's charitable, right? Anyway, this game locks out its final mission behind one tedious grind fest, and to see the true ending, which only becomes available after finishing the standard final mission, you have to get $8 million and build a skyscraper. That doesn't really serve any function whatsoever, just a big monument to how much time you wasted. Unlike other games in the series, money doesn't come super easy in this one. You have to earn it, either by upgrading all of your properties or just waiting forever to collect the necessary income, or you could always just do a bunch of bad open world stuff that amounts to chump change until you eventually get enough money. There's really no way you're going to get $8 million just naturally playing the game. It's going to require some grinding, and what's your reward for finally unlocking the tower? A super secret ending that adds to the story, like Saints Row 1 or 2? No, it's like a Shrek-style dance number. That's it! That's what you get for doing everything there is to do in this game. An embarrassing 2-minute dance montage. At number 9 is Dead Space Remake's New Game Plus secret ending. The devs of this remake really knocked it out of the park and managed to take an already great game and make it way better. One of the most intriguing things they added was this entirely new alternate ending. The original Dead Space only had one, but the remake has a quote-unquote true ending that in some ways acts as a bridge between Dead Space 1 and 2. The only way to see it is to play through New Game Plus and collect 12 of these hidden things called marker fragments. They really like to hide these things, so a guide is pretty much required. But once you find them all, you place them on these pedestals in the captain's quarters, and that unlocks the secret ending. The new ending changes things up pretty significantly. Instead of getting attacked by a necromorph before cutting to black, this time we see Isaac talking to his dead girlfriend Nicole, looking unhinged, and says he's gonna build a little something first. This ties in with the beginning of Dead Space 2, where you find out Isaac has been crazy for 3 years and built a second marker. It's a pretty cool little bonus that connects to the events of the second game, and hopefully it means we're getting a remake of the sequel that's just as good. At number 8 is Elden Ring's Frenzied Flame ending. Almost everything in this game feels secret, and that includes almost all of the game's 6 endings. But in my opinion, the Frenzied Flame ending is probably the one that requires the most effort to unlock, even in terms of this series. The stuff you gotta do here is downright bizarre. Seriously, I'm gonna sound like a crazy person trying to explain this, so bear with me. The Frenzied Flame ending comes at you when you inherit the Frenzied Flame. How do you get that? Well, by finding a secret path in the Cathedral of the Forsaken, jumping down this seemingly bottomless pit, and then going up to this big door and doing the only obvious thing, which is stripping naked, of course. Obviously, right? That's what we all knew it was gonna be. You were probably expecting that, so I'm not even gonna act like you're surprised. Seriously, what? What is this? Anyway, if you do that, this thing called the Three Fingers grabs you. Now you're marked and can no longer get any of the other endings. There's a whole other complicated process that you can do to get rid of this effect, but that's almost a more bizarre and secret ending than this. If you do all this before Melina, your maiden and companion through most of the game, sacrifices herself to burn the Erd Tree, it gives you the option of sacrificing yourself to the flames, making this one of the few endings where Melina actually survives, but that doesn't mean it's a good ending or anything. Actually, far from it. When you beat the game, you get this bizarre cutscene where your head turns into a flaming vortex and you see the entire world burning, with a voiceover from Melina that says she plans to find you and kill you.
I will seek you as far as you may travel, to deliver you what is yours.
It's all just another feel-good FromSoft moment. And number 7 is the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, the epilogue. You'd think a game all about endings would have some kind of actual ending, but then this game is all about subverting expectations. Then again, the epilogue isn't really an ending either, even if it's the closest thing this game is ever going to get to one. To get this ending, you got to do 2 things. Complete the figurines ending, the one where you get all the pointless collectibles, then watch all the strange boot-up cutscenes, which is this little story that plays out every time you start the game. When you enter the epilogue, it looks like a continuation of the skip button ending, where you're stuck in a silent desert long after the narrator has died or gone away or just stopped, whatever. I don't know, but all you can do is wander around and do nothing. After a while, the screen fades to black and you appear somewhere else. If you wait around 6 times, you'll appear in the front of the memory zone from a previous ending, but it's half buried and mostly destroyed. At the end of this place is a computer screen that reveals that it's the settings person you talk to during those boot up sequences who wants to create an infinite Stanley Parable number of sequels, which you can agree to, and the game will get a random new name on the title screen, or you say no and nothing happens. It's weird, it's kind of unsettling, and it's the Stanley Parable, folks. What else needs to be said? Moving on to number 6, the Keep Your Friends Close ending of Sons of the Forest. If you're like me, you didn't even realize there was a secret ending to this game. It might feel a bit bizarre. Like this is set on an island filled with cannibals and grotesque mutants, so there's not exactly an abundance of friendly faces, so to speak. The only 2 characters who aren't hostile to you are Kelvin, your lovable ally who's great at collecting logs and, nothing else at all, and this freaky looking but friendly mutant named Virginia. At first she's cautious and runs away if you try to get close, but if you act friendly to her, she eventually becomes your companion. That's how you get the secret ending. You have to do everything to unlock the final cave like usual, but if Kelvin is alive and Virginia is enough of a friend, they'll show up and get in the big gold box thing with everyone else, which spares you the fate of becoming a brainless cannibal or mutant like everyone else on the island. That's really the only major difference, but if you want to save absolutely everyone and not just yourself, this is the ending to get. All the stuff surrounding Virginia is so vague that it's hard to tell what you're supposed to be doing, but if you accept her gifts and keep both her and your friend/servant alive, then you'll get the true ending. And number 5 is the Pizza Tower, the true ending. This bizarre Wario-like is old school in many ways, including the slightly disappointing standard ending you get for not collecting all 19 of the tower secret treasures hidden in the Pizza Tower. In the regular ending, your main guy, Peppino Spaghetti, will walk away with a disappointed look on his face. Which, it's kind of confusing, because apparently he's sad that Pillar John is dead, even though the main goal of every level is to break Pillar John and escape out of a portal. So, I don't know what's going on there exactly. But if you manage to get the secret ending, things become slightly more clear. If you get all the treasures, which can only be found by first finding Jerome, the Pizza Tower's janitor, and taking him to a janitor's closet, then after the final boss, Pillar John will come back to life and punch out Pizza Face for good. I guess he was actually cursed or something? Like, who expected to find deep lore in Pizza Tower? Not I, said the rooster. At number 4 is Singnalis, the artifact ending. One of Singnalis' major stated influences is the Silent Hill franchise, a series that absolutely loves its bizarre and complicated secret endings, so it shouldn't come as a surprise that Singnalis pulls the same trick. Pretty much all the endings in this game are baffling, but this one's a lot trickier to unlock. To get it, you have to collect 3 secret keys hidden in random spots in the game by turning the radio to different frequencies while standing in 3 seemingly random rooms. Do that and you'll get the Love Key, Eternity Key, and Sacrifice Key, which don't sound ominous at all, and then you use them on the lock before the final boss. Do that and you'll get whatever this ending is supposed to be. It seems like some kind of final ending, but like pretty much everything about Singnalis, it's open to interpretation. The ending itself is not any more ridiculous than anything else in the game, but it's not an easy one to find. And number 3 is Atomic Heart. So this is a really weird game. At the core, it's kind of BioShock meets Far Cry with the world's wackiest protagonist. I know a lot of people make fun of it, but seriously, who thought it was a good idea to make it a game where your protagonist has the catchphrase of crispy critters? It's dumb, but honestly in a funny way after a while, so I don't know, maybe that's just my internet scrambled brain talking. Anyway, if you remember a lot of the just leave endings from Far Cry where you just give up and leave, and somehow it usually leads to a better outcome, well, Atomic Heart also has that going, but instead of putting it at the start of the game, they put it right before the end. The whole game, your main dude is working for the obvious evil, Dr. Shechnov, and right before the conclusion, you're giving a choice of either going after the doctor or literally saying, I've had enough, and quitting right then and there. Of course, the obvious choice is to take the doctor down, but that leads to the BioShock twist that, gasp, your glove is actually working against you. Then some other insane stuff happens, and it's all too much to get into here. Funny thing is, if you choose walk away, then in some ways it's actually the better ending. Just leaving makes it so your glove isn't able to enact its evil scheme. Your main guy doesn't get trapped in limbo, and the world doesn't get taken over by a sentient goo man. All of this actually happens. But then again, just walking away does mean the original evil plan does go through, but it's at least not quite as bad as what happens in the standard ending. Or maybe it is. I I don't really know, and I don't think anyone else does with this game. At number 2, Hi-Fi Rush's Secret Spectra door ending. This is one of those games with a long end game. You tackle the tower, play a game on a higher difficulty, or more interesting, at least for our purposes, is find all these Spectra doors hidden throughout the levels. You know DMC's Secret Rooms or Bayonetta's Alfheim challenges? These are just those. They're challenge rooms where you fight enemies, usually with some kind of gimmick to make things harder. In most games, these things are just optional little extras, but in Hi-Fi Rush, completing them actually unlocks the secret ending. In it, you can find the Spectre system and a hologram of Kale, the main bad guy, who taunts you. A sequel hook, basically. At least that's what it looks like until a janitor bot mistakenly pulls the plug on the entire thing. It's just a big joke about video games hiding secret sequel hooks, while still kind of being a secret sequel hook. I mean, someone could come around and plug the thing back in, right? At number 1 is the true master ending from Sifu. Getting this ending is by far the most ridiculous challenge on this list. Hell, beating Sifu at all is pretty impressive. But if you want to really beat the game, then you gotta get this ending, which involves making the already ridiculously difficult bosses even harder. The trick here is that instead of killing all your enemies, you have to spare them. Like, I bet you didn't even think that was possible, and for good reason. There's no obvious kill or spare choices in the game. The only way to get the option to spare a boss is to get them to their second phase, break their structure, which is basically their stamina so that they're stunned, which normally gives you the option to finish them off, but to spare them, you just don't do anything. Seriously, that's what you have to do. You just sit there and let the boss survive. Now you have to break their structure again, which, if I haven't made clear yet, is not easy. Like, in a lot of ways, it's harder than just beating them up, and you have to do it twice. That's what you have to do to every single boss. If you spare all of them, including the ridiculously difficult final boss, then you unlock the true ending where your character rejects the path of revenge and chooses a more honorable goal for themselves. I cannot understate how difficult pulling this is off. Seriously, just beating the game is an achievement on its own. I said that once and I'll say it again here for emphasis. Maybe with the added difficulty options this becomes more manageable, but when this first came out, this ending might as well not exist because most people didn't have a chance at getting close to seeing it. And that's all for today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. So click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications. And as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter, Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time, right here on gameranx. Right here on